running all over in your body. I'm sorry that you don't recognize that the life in our hair, and we call it coarseness, but the body and the life in the black hair is itself testament to how much God loves us. I am sorry that you have not accepted that this black body and black hair and black face that is still offensive to you and many others. I'm sorry that you've not yet accepted that we were first, and we were the first manifestation of humanity. In essence, the most perfect visual, because before us there was none like us. Honor that and cherish that. For those of us who recognize it, use your voice and talk out against it. And in any space where you can represent powerfully and positively what it means to be a black man or a black woman, do it without apology. Because we now apologize for how we feel, and we're not going to apologize for the fact that we're angry. We're living in a world where we should be politically correct and be okay and be stoic and just find a way to work through it. Me, Crystal Tomlinson, have no intention of learning how to live in oppression. Me don't want to learn that. The very essence of Emancipation Day is because our ancestors refused to learn to live in a world where they were unworthy, whereas themselves they were not enough. So I'm not trying to learn how to live in a world where oppression is still okay. And anywhere that the freedom and liberty of somebody, especially right here in Jamaica, where any Jamaican's freedom and liberty is under threat, my own under threat too. Because that could be me. That could have been me as a child. That could be my daughter if she decides that she wants to lock her hair like her mother and her father. That could literally be me. So a threat to baby Z, because that's what we call her in the article. We don't want nobody to know her name. The fact that baby Z must now know that her hair makes her unworthy. Her hair makes her an other and not a legitimate part of the collective. The fact that she must now choose between how she feels and sees her beauty in its most natural sense. She must now choose between that and the need to fit in with society is a threat to every Jamaican's freedom. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the court cites as the legal standing that the school had to make that ruling, so that our legislators can step up to the plate now and decide which Jamaican you represent. Do you represent the administrators at Kensington, or do you represent the mass of black people who are tired of being told how their blackness is unworthy and not beautiful enough to stand as it is? The next tourists will come here, I feel like I'm supposed to start meet them out of Norman Manley and out of Donald Sangster, right? With some flyer, say, welcome to Jamaica, where you can buy a Rasta hat, but your Rasta child can't go to school. Welcome to Jamaica, where a Rasta man will probably give you a coconut, but his child will not be allowed to go to certain schools. Welcome to Jamaica, where you're going to buy one of those nice figurines or artifacts and bring back to put on your shelf. But we can't put children in school who look like that. Because I don't even think those who admire and celebrate and revere the blackness that we put out in front of the cameras, confidence that we portray in our ads for tourism, a lot of them don't know that we are grappling with feelings of inadequacy ourselves and making a deliberate effort to transfer that onto children who dare to show up in this world confident and in love with who they are. Me not plan to try to figure out how to live in a world like this. Me don't plan to try and figure out how to live in a world like this, because this is not the world I am going to live in. And that's exactly why I'm going to Parliament. Because there are some things that have to change. The last thing I'm going to say, and this is to the Minister of Education, I not even know if I'm going to hear this, right? And I'm probably going to hear it and just don't hear. But again, this is exactly why I try to go Parliament. So I'm not have to beg people to do them some here. We can't just do it ourselves. Give us the teachings of Marcus Garvey. Because the other thing that we are fighting against is not just bad laws and people who have not yet come to a personal revelation and understanding of themselves. What we're fighting against here is a curriculum, a life curriculum that teaches us that black people just not good enough as we are. Some of us have grandparents who still believe that they must pinch your nose so When you're a baby, in the hopes that it will straighten it. Put clothespin by your nose and hold it so that eventually when you grow up, your nose can straight and you can pretty. Some of us still have parents who are encouraging, if not setting the example, for us to bleach our skin, because that is a reflection of what it means to be beautiful. And if you can't beautiful by all you're born, make we see how we can make the beauty by bring up your skin tone a little bit. Some of us still have grandparents and parents who treat the lighter skin sibling better than the darker skin sibling. And no matter what the dark one do, for them nickname is always Blackie and Darkie. And no matter how brilliant they are, no matter how much love they show and compassion they show, they will still never be enough and never access the level of privilege that the lighter skin sibling will have. So I don't want you to think it's just a law we're fighting against or a school board and school administration. We're fighting against a culture. And the only way to reculture people is through education. We learn how to be human beings. None of us is born and just talk English, talk patois, put one foot in front of the other. We are taught how to be as human beings, which means that we can teach the next generation of Jamaican children who will become Jamaican legislators. Okay, a big door. I wonder if you're going to come in at the shot. You might see it in a very big black bulb. I feel like it's the black energy, right? I call it on. Yes, some of us have an opportunity right now, whether you're a parliamentarian, an administrator, a teacher, a principal, to advocate for Garveyism to become a part of what we learn as Jamaican students. And you know why it is so important to put book and pencil, classroom, chalkboard, or whiteboard in the midst of teaching us what it means to be black? Because a lot of us will not find out on our own. A lot of us will not buck up into that wisdom. What you will buck up in is the prejudice, telling you that you have to change who you are if you're to be accepted. But you're not going to buck up in a black consciousness just so. Most of us will have to seek and find and dig up the books them and read that for ourselves. So why not just make it a part of the curriculum? So no matter which school you go, whether it's a country school or a town school, a rich people's school or a poor people's school, a uptown school or a downtown school, a traditional school or a non-traditional school, homeschooling or public schooling or private schooling, that a core part of the approved curriculum for students. And you can pick which level you want to teach it. The earlier the better. They have to learn some of those principles of Garveyism. There's a reason why universities across the world have institutes and courses dedicated to the teachings of Marcus Garvey. And I true them now have nothing to do with the building, why they name it after Marcus. It's not because they never have some other book them could have put in there, why they choose to put in the books and the writings of Marcus Garvey. It's because it is so important. It is so important to raising the consciousness of a people that for centuries have been educated to believe that we are insufficient and we are ugly. So you have to reteach that. Remember, I said somebody teach with the opposite, you know. Somebody taught us that feeling of inadequacy, you know. We now have an opportunity to unlearn that by teaching what we now know to be truth. So I'm advocating again, as PNPYO president, we put it out there before. We had put this out there before, just when students were being turned back from school because they were lightening their skin. Instead of sending them back home to a parent who's probably still doing the bleaching and is quite fine to keep the extra 500 on their pocket at daytime. So if you now go to school, we can use the money and do something else. Go and go look at work. They are okay with that. There are parents who not gonna fight you. So the child will just not learn. A 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old student will just get dashed out of school because them bleach them skin. Why not teach them what is beautiful about what they have? Why not do that? Why is that so hard? Why do I have to be begging for us to teach people what makes us beautiful as black people? Understanding that for centuries we were being taught what makes us ugly and insufficient and inadequate and second-class citizens, if not lower order beings. That was something taught to us. And that is something people are still being taught. Now, I don't think the Supreme Court wants to be complicit in that lifelong pedagogy of oppression, but you are now a part of it. And that's because we have bad laws. Whatever laws empower that kind of ruling, we have to change that. But we can also do something from the root that allows us to bear better fruit when the tree grows up. And that is educating our children. So that is the last thing I will say on it. I may tell you, I feel it, the tip of my toe, because this is something I have had to live through. And as a teenager, I've had to stand up for my right to wear my hair that way. I've had to stand up for Akira as my daughter to wear her hair that way. I'm going to feel like I feel a fight with a Jamaican educator when I see a time for go to school for her right to wear her hair in its natural form. So that hurts. But that's a part of why I'm entering politics. To change the parts of our reality as Jamaicans that hurt. And this is one of them. Poverty is another one. Uneducation is another one. Lack of job and opportunity is another one. Poor management of resources and corruption is another one. But today on Emancipation Day, and this me I talk about, I'm going to save it, Empress. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. So this is my Emancipation Day message to you. Share it with somebody. Talk about it when your family link up. Tweet about it. At the people in a position to do something about it. But me and the Lord, they're going to buck up in a parliament very soon. And if they don't change it now, I know it's not going to stay there when me and my team get there. Love and blessings, everybody.